I just couldn't resist. I know I said in my last video I want to paint more than one model a video, and I want to start doing squads like the Sword Brothers, but man, the Emperor's Champion just called to me. I couldn't resist. So here he is, this tiny, tiny little sprue. And in this video we're going to do the full works. We're going to build him up, we're going to paint him, and probably, almost certainly, do a fancy little base for him. Like I did actually start building up some Sword Brothers, I promise. I started clipping them off and gluing them. But yeah, the entire time I was just like, I want to do this. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm keen to get stuck in. So let's set him free from his little plastic prison and get started. Cool, so here he is, like I mentioned, the tiniest sprue in the world. Like, you compare it to the book barely fits on camera. And such a small sprue for such an iconic, cool model. But let's get started. First page, look at that. Oof, it's just one page. Oh, I love it. All right, cool. So, I guess it starts off pretty intense already, yeah, like constructing entire bodies. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not 4, sorry, I'll leave that one out. We'll do this section because, yeah, we definitely want to sub-assemble this to get down to all the nitty-gritty little details. Awesome, and here's his torso all built. This is awesome, man. Yeah, I love this. This huge, like, fist to the sky pose. This is cool. I'm keen to put the sword on now, so yeah, let's not yap on about it too much. Let's go to the next section, which is all those cool, fun little bits. So we've got, you just notice a little mistake in the book as well. It mentions here, as the sword is A4, but the thing we've just put on is A4, and I bet if I grab the sprue, yeah, look at that, the sword is actually 8. Nice little mistake in the book. It's been a while since we've seen one of those. So yeah, technically we need 7, 8, 9, and 10. I mean, actually, to be fair, I think from here, everything's going to be like sub-assembled and left off in the end. Shoulders, sword, backpack. So what we'll do actually is we'll just clip this all off, because there's not really any options for customizations. There's no decisions to make. And then also we can assemble them with some blue tack. So yeah, let's actually just tear through the rest. Like I mentioned, such a tiny little sprue, there's only like a few pieces left to cut off. Oh my god, what a model, look at that. He seems absolutely like huge, like 20 inches tall because of the way he's like holding the sword in the air, but oh my god, I love this. This is incredible. I love like this, the epic pose of, yeah, like sword in the air, like leaning forward like he's leading the charge. Oh my god, this is incredible. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I absolutely love this, just like the sheer like scale of it. Yeah, it's so cool. I'm glad I did this over the Sword Brothers. I feel bad for casting them aside, but yeah, this is definitely what I wanted. Oh my god. My only criticism, like super minor, is like it's monopose and there's not any customizable options. Like you just use everything on the sprue. Just me being a bit greedy, but I do wish there was like maybe a couple of relics or one or two little extra bits you could pick from. So just going to quickly prime this up with the usual Chaos Black, Matte White, like Zenithal. Going to pin him into some cork as well. We can get started because, yeah, I can't wait any longer. Oh, and here he is, pinned, primed, and ready to paint. Oh, look at that, what a majestic model. I think I've worked out what it is I love about this so much. And in a way, what I love about Warhammer. So if I just grab two most recent models. So we've got the Execrator and the Bladeguard Veteran. And this, like, so if we could take the Execrator, I love this guy's, like, the motion of him, right? He's, like, running and jumping off a rock. That looks so cool and, like, awesome. And then similarly, I love that this guy's just a unit, right? He's like a big shield as big as like a human, thick armor, absolute tank. Whereas this guy, like if you compare him size-wise, like look how much he towers over everything else. He's like, it's like heroic superhero, sword to the sky, towering over everyone, like pose. Like he's just so like epic and like grand. And I think that's what I love most about him. He's just like he would be at the front of the battlefield, sword in the air, like screaming some big speech. I think, yeah, that's what I love about this. And then also just Warhammer, like the variety of models. Like you have the same faction, the same sort of style, but like vastly different like aspects. Like so, like big epic leader, jump in motion, big unstoppable tank. It's just so cool. So where do we start? Well, first of all, we need to take off all of the pieces that we're going to sub-assemble. So like the backpack. Don't judge me, but I did do this on its own as well. So last week we actually started with the shield, some big, fancy, interesting piece of detail that was like the thing I was most excited for. And I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to do the same this time. When I'm sort of fresh and excited, I'm going to take the sword and start with this. So what we can make a start on, I guess, is this, all like the handle and the stuff down here. So it's just going to be a couple of base colours. So the handle of the sword will be Baal red. And then there's some like silvers and golds around a lot of these like chains, the Gaurd, some insignias and whatnot. So that'll just be a Leadbelcher and Retributor gold, I think. Sweet, so there's all the base colours, just some nice like shiny gold for all of the like handles and guards, a bit of red and silver, looking nice. Just gonna slap some Nuln oil all over it to give it some depth, and then I think I will highlight some of the gold as well actually, just the usual, just a little bit of Liberator around the top sections, and then also we'll put on a base layer of Black Templar on the blade while we're at it. Cool, so there's all the colours and the highlights looking real good. There is like a nice, like a vibe, I feel, with like the Black Templar stuff, with that gold, red, black, silver, Nuln oil, like that kind of like wash. It's proper like gear. Like if you just gave me this, I'm like, what's that? I'm like, well, that looks like my Black Templar's that. Like, it's cool to have that sort of like own sort of style and vibe I instantly recognise. Next up is the sword. So like I mentioned, we're going to use a whole bunch of different colours to make some non-metallic metal looks on the sword. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the outside of the blade. So what we'll start with is Mechanicus standard grey, just sort of to highlight the top half, like both sides, and then just a tiny bit at the middle. And then what we're going to do is some alternating highlights. So we're going to do Dawnstone, which is a new pot, so keen to open that, to highlight from the top to about a third of the way down on this side, and the same down here, bottom, about a third of the way up, like alternating highlights to make a cool like shiny effect. And then we'll do some spot highlights of Administrum Grey, which is my second new pot. So, 2 brand new colours. I'm not 100% sold on this, or sure. I kind of look at it, it just looks the same. Like maybe I've just highlighted the sides of the blade too much and not actually like gone into the sword itself. There's a little bit down here at the bottom in the corner that looks a bit highlighted. Tell you what I do is I'll do the next step, and then if it's still like that, then maybe we can like thicken out the highlights onto the blade. Yeah, so we'll start with some Thunderhawk blue, but on the inner section, so you can see this there actually. We'll do Thunderhawk blue down to about here, yeah, about here or so, and then also from this side upwards, and then we'll take some Russ grey, and we'll just do the bottom half and then the top section. So the final piece for this blade is we're just going to do some spot highlights on the actual text in there. There's like some letters and some stuff etched into the blade. So we'll just take some of that rust grey and then just like spot highlight just a couple of the like corners, the sharpest edges, just to try and make the words and the letters pop a little bit more. Yeah, so there's the sword. That's looking okay. I like it, you know. It's not as like popping as I wanted it to be. Like, I watched the tutorial, this War Hipster Contrast Plus one, and it looks really good in his tutorial. And I say it every time, it's so funny that when I follow it step by step, and it like, I look at mine and I'm like, oh, it looks nothing like that. Like, it does look quite similar, to be fair. But I really want to know what it is, the difference between, like, where is the skill between what I'm doing and what they're doing, because I'm doing the exact same steps, the same colours, the same sections, the same paint strokes. Like, is it, like, I know there is some differences, right? Obviously, he's a lot more skilled than I am, but what is it that he's got better than me? Is it like paint consistency? Is it brush control? Is it like the amount on the brush, or is it like a combination of everything? So I'm keen to learn that over however long it takes to learn, months, years, whatever. But that's something I'm keen to learn, not just the skills, but also what it is that I need to learn. So, next up, yeah, I think I'm going to start with this armour piece. You know, there's not actually that much to this model. Just looking at all the bits on my desk. There's like the shoulders, the back, and the head, and that's kind of it, really. And then obviously the body. So I'm actually going to get stuck into this body now. Cool, so we've got the armour. So I'm just going to do the traditional, what I always do with Black Templar armour, which is a coat of Black Templar contrast paint to sit nicely over all of these shadows we've made with the Xenophor. And then we'll dry brush some Russ grey all over it, just to catch those edges like onto the knees and the breastplates and stuff, get some nice looking highlights. And then we like to cover it with some Nuln oil just to dull it all down and bring it all in. It makes like a nice shiny metallic armour. Oh, you'll have to bear with me. It's happened only the second time since starting the YouTube channel, but I forgot to hit record. So I did actually dry brush, took this dry brush here and dabbed over some rust grey. And we just went all over the model, so you can kind of see there like the knees, a little bit on the chest, around the back here and his elbows as well. Just some rust grey dry brush and highlights. So yeah, we'll just quickly go over the entire body with Nuln oil, and then we can move on to some of these cool little details. So, I haven't got much left of it tonight, time-wise, so I don't really want to get stuck into the Tabard, because I really want to spend a lot of time on it. So what I might do before I go to bed, there's a whole bunch of these, like, buckles on him. See the side just there? I think they're just silver and brown. There's some there. There's one I've kind of painted a little bit there, and one at the top there. So what I might do is little stuff like that. So paint these buckles, I think they are literally just silver and brown. So it'll be Leadbelcher and Mornfang. And then there's also some armour ribbons, which I like doing Mechanicus standard, no, sorry, Basilicanum grey. I like filling them in with Basilicanum grey, just especially around the back, look at that ass. And then the bolts, there's like bolts in his chest, that would just be Leadbelcher. So yeah, just to end the night, I might touch up a little, couple of little details, and then first thing in the morning we can get stuck into this big tabard. Oh yeah, this would be a good place to call it for today. I didn't get to paint as much as I'd like during the day. I just feel like I was quite busy doing other stuff, which is fine. But we did get quite a bit done, so we did get this full sword completely painted. Really happy with that, looking pretty cool. And then we've also got the torso started, so we've got all of the armour, we've got the highlights, and we've got the belt, the silver. Actually, well, the belt still needs like shading and highlights, but the base colours for the belt, and some of these like buckles, I don't know what they are, but they look quite cool. And the bolts on the armour, I absolutely love. Like, it was the same on the Execrator, I think. It just adds like loads to it for such a small little poke of silver. So yeah, I'm going to head on to bed because it's getting quite late, but then first thing tomorrow, we'll just finish up this belt, put some of the shades on and the highlights, and then we'll make a start on the Tabard. Really excited for that. Cool, so there's all of the brown leather Agrax Earth shaded and highlighted with Mournfang. Just the same colour over the top. And then yeah, so with the Tabard, I was going to go Xandri Dust and then highlight it with some Ushabti Bone, some more like Xandri Dust sort of shading. But then I thought, this tutorial does say Skeleton Horde, and I kind of like the idea of how it looked in the video I'm watching, the War Hipster one, so I thought I'd give it a try. And I do quite like how it looks on the raised section, and then like the Tabard down here. It's just with that Xenophil sort of spray, and the bottom half being basically black. This section gets like, yeah, look at that, there's like nothing there, like just a light tint. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll put on another layer of Skeleton Horde actually. Yeah, let me quickly do that and see how that looks. Yeah, so the second layer hasn't really fixed the problem, it's just made sort of the top sections a bit darker. Like that bottom Xenophil's just a bit too black, so it just fades into nothing. Like this problem still persists. So what I think I might just do then is just do my original plan and go over it with a layer of Xandri Dust. Cool, so that's, yeah, just some Xandri Dust, and yeah, I like that a lot more, like just a lot more full. You can see it go all the way down and around. Yeah, it's a shame. What I might do in the future though is actually, just rather than do the Xenophil, just highlight the Black Templar completely white, and then I can use stuff like Skeleton Horde, because I like the way the contrast sits in the recesses and the divots and whatnot, and it looks quite good. But moving on to this little concoction we've mixed up for the shades. Let's just add a little bit of water to it because I want it to be a bit of a glaze. But yeah, this colour in the middle was like loads of Xandri Dust, and then it's a touch of Mournfang Brown just to kind of darken it down, and we use that to like recess shade. So if I just grab a turn a bit more, that might be okay actually, to be fair. Let's just try that. So we'll make it a nice like thin glaze. Let's see if we can put it in some of these recesses. So for example, there's like a divot just here. Not sure about that either. Oh well, I guess what we can do is we can just leave this to dry, and then we'll just play around with like this kind of concoction of like Xandri Dust, do Shabty Bone, and just try and sort of like layer on some highlights in sort of the raised areas and the recesses and whatnot. I think it's going to be a lot of trial and error on this. Oh boy, this Tabard is an absolute state. Oh, I know when it's getting bad when I'm like putting colours over colours over colours. So I guess we can start with the positives. The top section is okay. I actually quite like the definition, the divots, the shadows. The back's okay as well. Like, it's not too bad. On the back, there's some nice, again, like, highlights are looking good. It's just that front section. And I think I know the two places I've gone wrong, to be fair. One, I find the recesses are really hard to find on the front. There's like 2 slits down the front, and that's about it. It's quite flat, so it's kind of hard to like layer the colours. And also, I shouldn't have mixed Mournfang Brown with the Xandri Dust. In my mind, I wanted to darken the Xandri Dust a little bit for the recess shading. And I was like, I don't want to darken it too much, just a touch. So rather than use a teeny tiny bit of like dried bark like I should have done, I used Mournfang because I was like, oh, it's a lighter brown. It shouldn't darken it too much. But I don't think it darkened it at all. It just changed it into like a peachy colour. So instead of Mournfang, I should have used a tiny bit of dried bark. But like I mentioned, I've applied so many colours and shades and washes to this. I need to stop. Like, I need to just call it there because it's going to be a bit more of a mess. And it's fine. Like, I look at it, it's not horrendous. Like, it's the right colours. It's a bit patchy and blotchy. And to be fair, I can look at it and go, I know my mistakes. I know where I went wrong. It can be like a learning point. I can just keep, like, I know what we did here. I do want to get really good with Tabards. Like I mentioned, I really want to try just sacking off the zenithal highlighting for once and just trying like a pure white highlight. Like I've got, yeah, I use matte white as my like zenithal shadows, and I'd be keen to try just completely matte white on all of it, and then using Skeleton Horde for the Tabard, because I really liked how it sat on the brighter sections. It's just where it was black underneath from the zenithal, it was kind of a bit pants. Like contrast over black doesn't really work. So I'd be keen to try that, and then also trying to work more on, yeah, like mixing like browns in with the Xandri Dust to like darken for recess shading. But luckily, I've got I've got a squad of, well, 5 Crusaders, 9 Neophytes, and a Sword Brother squad in that combat patrol to paint up. So that's enough Tabards to keep me satiated. But moving on from this body, because it's done. Just going to do a small quick win now, I think. I'm going to do his head. I've already done that, the Black Templar, the Rust Grey, and the Nuln Oil, like highlights on all of the other pieces, like on the backpack and the head. So all I need to do on the helmet is some silver, the eyes, some bolts, and then I've got this cool little, I don't know what it is, like a halo type thing. It's like almost like a wreath, like a cool little decorative piece. What I might actually do is, I left it off to sub-assemble because I thought, oh, I'm going to be dry brushing the helmet. It'll be kind of might break and snap. But now that I've actually done that, I've done all the dry brushing and the base coats of the helmet, I'm actually going to glue that on. So yeah, let's just quickly bash out the helmet and the halo, and then we can move on to something else. And there's that cool golden crown all painted up. Joe what? I'm absolutely loving painting these gold details now. Now that we've got the Liberator armour, and even a little bit of Leadbelcher just to add a touch of like a spot highlight. Yeah, I'm super happy with where our like gold details are at. But on the front of teeny tiny little quick wins, there's just this hand I haven't done as well. I mean, I have given it a base coat of Black Templar. I haven't done any highlights. And then it's got this like prayer beads that look quite cool. And I think it's just alternating red and gold. Yeah, it just seems like a dark red, silver, so it's red and silver with the gold medallion. Let's get out that really tiny brush and see what absolute minuscule little details we can do. This should be quite fun. So that's it for today. Didn't get to paint as much as I wanted to. I've just been a bit busy with like work and like life and stuff. Like I've been out and done some bits. So all we've done today is the tabard, the leather straps, and then these two tiny bits, the head and the hand. And I will say, just to touch on this hand, because we haven't actually spoke about it, oh my god, it's unreal. It's so cool. When I looked at it, I was like, oh, there's not much to it. It's just like some weird beads. But now I've put every single individual piece of like red on every bead, and then the silver in between, the little gold trinket, like all these teeny tiny little things like adding up. It's like, I just like it. It looks really good. Like an inconspicuous small detail, but there's so much going on. It's like, oh, actually, when you look at it, there's more to it. Hopefully tomorrow, I'm pretty free all day, to be fair. Yeah, nothing planned in the evenings. So what I want to make a start on, I was thinking there's not much left, but what's left does feel quite heavy. So I'm going to do the shoulder pads next. They've got some insignias on them. I do like to sink some time into the shoulder pads. Then there's like a belt with some details. To be fair, actually, it's just leather and a lantern. That's not too bad. And the backpack with some tassels. The tassels are just going to be red with some text. Actually, yeah, it's not too bad, to be fair. I want to do the shoulders next, just because I feel like there's got a lot going on there. That'll probably be like the biggest thing left to do, detail-wise. What's going to happen next is I'm going to go to bed, and then in the morning we'll crack on with these cool shoulder pads, which is what you'll see next. So that's all the base colours. It's looking okay. I always find it really hard. There's so many little like teeny tiny details all interweaving to like get a real clean application. I guess it's time for the washes. I want to put Nuln oil over all of the black and the gold. And I also want to put some Agrax Earthshade along the trims of the inside, just to add some recess shading. And I guess also might as well start highlighting some of it with a Russ grey. I don't really want to dry brush this just because there's like so much white and gold all over, so I'm just going to use the actual size 00 and just edge highlight it with the brush. Right, so there's all the colours, the highlights, the shading. They're looking kind of okay. Something about them feels a touch messy though. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I'm getting too close to them. Like I'm looking at them like this. Obviously it's not in focus, but I come that close to it. Okay, I like the recess shading on them. I quite like it in this little like nook here and on that one there. But last thing on these shoulders, which is, I feel the movie dread, is this freehand shield. So it's meant to be, if I grab the box up. Yeah, so it's meant to be, the top half stays white and the bottom, well, top third, and the bottom third is red. And it's got half of a cross and then this like freehand white garland wreath. So I'm going to try that. I think what I'll do is I'll paint it red and then I'll see if I can find like a red cross on my transfer sheet and then like cut it in half and stick it on the top and then see if we can draw some kind of something. I'm sure what will happen is I'll start drawing the freehand, it will go messy, I'll paint over it, just put on the transfer, but I definitely want to give it a try though, because I want to improve that freehand because it looks really good when you can get it done. Yeah, to the surprise of no one, this was a mess. Even the transfer I used for like, the top half star was too small. Like even there, like you can kind of barely see it. I did cut a bigger one off and kind of cut it in half, but even this was like too big. Like I feel like I needed like a middle ground between the two. Like, but I haven't got one on the sheet. This is the smallest one I can find. That's the biggest one. What I think I'm going to do is just probably put one of these swords on or something, just on this red section and call it there. Just because yeah, I did try a few times, but every time it was a mess. So yeah, I'll chuck a transfer on and we'll just have to call it there. But moving on from that, there's not much left to be fair. There's just 2 sections. Let's just move this tile out of the way. It's impossible to see all those dried paints. Got the belt and then that backpack, and then we can start moving on to basing. What I might just quickly do is bash out the belt because it's just some like Rhinox hide, Agrax and Mornfang for the leather, a bit of silver for whatever that is, and then a lantern. Cool, so that's the shoulders and the belt done, a lot of the little details. I got a little bit carried away with the belt actually. I just kept going and going. I was like, oh, this is good, and I got into a flow, so I didn't really speak about it much. But just the normal leather recipe we've got for the pouch, just like Rhinox hide and Mornfang. Then the lantern actually. I was going to use Flash Kit's yellow for the light, but I thought Imperial Fist being a contrast might sit in it quite well, make like a nice sort of glow, and it does. Like I'm really happy with it. I really like it, you know. Just did some highlighting and some Nuln oil. Moving on, I think we've only got one piece left. This backpack, which like I mentioned, I think is going to be deceptively long. But yeah, I think the highlighting, and I want to write some like white text on there. And I feel like despite it just being one little bit of ribbon, I feel like it's going to take a lot longer than I think. But it needs to do it anyway, so let's make a start on that. Yeah, I quite like the Baal red to be fair. It's not looking too bad. So just did that, put some Nuln oil over the top to get some depth, and then dry brushed some Evil Suns. Just to give it some depth and variety. Oh, I did some spot highlights of Troll Slayer, but not too prominent. But I still think it looks okay. Nice little tassels on the back. Just the final touch. I'm going to take some white scar, wherever I put it. And then we're going to just do some text on it, just like little squiggles, like a purity seal, but along the back of these tassels. So let's give this a try. You know what? That's not horrendous. So the ones at the top are too thick, but I do actually think I'd learn how much paint I need to put on the brush for doing something like this, because the ones a little bit further down are a lot better. I think they look a lot more subtle, a lot more like text, whereas these top ones are just blobs. But yeah, I do think actually doing that definitely taught me how much paint to put on the brush. I've actually been doing it on my hand here. I've noticed people sort of applying the paint, like just putting on the brush and then sort of like wiping it off in the hand to see how much is there or the consistency. And yeah, I think you can almost see here there was a little bit too much on the brush. It was coming off quite thick. So I just wiped it 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 times and it got a lot thinner. So you know what? While that doesn't actually look horrendous, I do feel like I learnt my lesson very quickly with that, which is good. Like I mentioned earlier, I did start pre-painting a whole bunch of purity seals and buttons for like a video that I kind of abandoned a little bit. But I was doing that in them, so yeah, like it is something I've been working on and trying. And you know what? I do think this little ribbon, yeah, like I mentioned, has sort of taught me quite a bit actually. So we are getting somewhere with that. We are making progress. But speaking of progress, I'm pretty sure that's everything. So yeah, we've got everything we've done today, which doesn't look like a lot, but I've been quite busy today, to be fair. I haven't had a chance to paint all that much, apart from this evening. Then we've got the body, the sword, which feels like a lifetime ago, and the head and the hand. Unreal. Oh, now comes the best part. I get to put it all together and see what it looks like built. But that is going to have to wait till tomorrow for me because, yeah, it's like 11 o'clock, so I feel good for getting this all done today, though. It is Wednesday, and I feel like I'm taking a little bit longer than normal, but I think that's just because life in general has got in the way of painting. But I'm going to go to sleep, and then the next thing you'll see, first thing in the morning, I get to build this guy and then start working on the base, which I'm really excited about. Here he is, all clipped off and built just to the side, but let's slide him away, keep him secret, because the last thing left to do is just the base. So, what I want to do for this guy, I want to make him a little bit elevated, just because he's like a hero, like he's such a cool unit. I want him to be risen above the rest of the army, you know, but not like so high, he's just ludicrous, not like the Wolf Priest we did, where is he? This guy was like something else, like look at that, how much cork he's on. That was silly, but funny. But this guy, no, just one layer of cork, so I've just glued like a little bit of cork down to the base. What my plan is for it, I'm going to have him standing on the rock at the back, and then around here, in this section, I want like a pool of water. But like I mentioned, I want to mix some paint in and make it like a bit swampy. So we're going to prime this with a brand new primer, some Raven Black from Colourforge. My Chaos Black ran out, so I just needed to get a new one. So I thought I'd try this. So we'll prime this with Raven Black, and then I want to paint all of this base section Death Guard green. So hopefully with the Death Guard green underneath and the clear water, it might look like kind of like green, murky, swampy water. Oh, here we go. This was an interesting one. Da-da-da-da. Oh my god, this was... yeah, wow. Oh my lord, where do I start? You know what, like, the model is cool. Like, the model itself is so cool. It's too big to even fit in the shot. Like, look at that, you got, like, lean on its side. I absolutely love the huge, like, sword in the air, the heroic pose. All, like, the gold wreath around his head and the big clean chest plate. Like, I do love the model. My god, this was a... It's quite funny because normally with a model like this, it's like a huge, big centerpiece. You know, it's like a big, fancy, like 20, 30 pound model. One of like the cream of the crop, right? Like one of the most beloved Black Templar. So normally with a model like this, I'd be like, right, not trying anything new, no funny business, just going to give it my all and try and make it like the best looking model ever. But this time it was kind of the opposite of that. Like I learned a lot painting this guy, which is funny because normally, yeah, I don't treat these models as lessons. I guess we'll start with the base because that was the freshest thing. It did not turn out how I thought it was, and I made a big cock up with. You might even be able to see straight away. So the actual like base of the model, it's kind of got some hangover there. So that skull, it's kind of just floating in the middle of the air. I messed up the cork basically. I didn't mold it in the way where he could sit on it properly. And I think what I would have done in hindsight is maybe just put a little bit of Milliput under there, just like prop it up. But by the time I'd like glued the cork down, sprayed it, painted it, kind of drilled some holes, it was already like a bit too far gone. But saying that, I might, after this is all dried, because it's still a little bit wet, maybe see if I can put something under there. I mean, the watery swamp kind of thing in the middle is kind of okay. Like, it's kind of got the effect I wanted. I just wanted it to be a bit bigger, you know, like a bit more water. I think I put way too much mud on it. Like, spin it around like there's so much mud, and it's just all over the place. Like, I like the vibe of, like, yeah, this moss growing up the rock. And I like this sort of submerged little bush I've kind of put in the middle. You can kind of see it, yeah. But it's just, yeah, especially this section is way too much mud. And in fact, there's even a little bit there. What's that doing? I don't know. I mean, like I said, the base is a little bit wet, actually. So maybe, actually, can I pick that out now? Yeah, that's not too bad. Get rid of that, put it down there somewhere. But yeah, just go through the model. I guess we'll start with the positives. I love the head, like the face, the highlights in the helmet, and that crown is so cool. Like I love like how it looks in the model and how it's highlighted. Big fan. The shield is obviously missing the key point, the big reef. But I've tried a few times, and it just every time it was awful. So if anyone's got any good ways to practice freehand, it'd be good to let me know in the comments because keen to improve on that because yeah, the shield is kind of missing its thing. I guess I really like the lantern. You know, I like how the Imperial Fist sat in the lantern. So I've got a few of these going forward, and I know, yeah, I'll stick with that. Like Imperial Fist, it fills it out quite well, makes a nice like faint sort of glow. Big fan. And then the hand as well. Like if we zoom in, yeah, the hand with the rosary beads. I absolutely love that. Just a little red and silver like beads, little like relic on the bottom. It's just a nice little feature on that side. You know, just a little bit extra, bit of colour to add down there. I really like it. And then the sword was kind of okay. Like, yeah, like it's not too bad actually now it's put on. And I do kind of get the vibe and the effect of like the highlights we're going for. It's just not as prominent as I'd like. So maybe like but I guess it's the first time I've ever done non-metallic metals. So it's a learning point, you know. It's a starting point, you know. So, and then I guess the two other main learning points from this was I'll start with the tassels on the back. Yeah, the top ones are way too thick, and the bottom ones are just right. So I think I've sort of learned the amount of paint that's needed on the brush to get some good little squiggles. Like I kind of know now, so that's good. I learned a good lesson there. And then the tabard around the back, actually, I really like how it looks there. I think that looks really cool. Really like for the depth and volume. It's just this bottom half around the front is a bit I don't know, flat and a bit all messy in the middle. But again, I learned my lesson in terms of not mixing Xandri dust with Mournfang. Mix it with like dried bark or something or right outside to make it a bit darker. But also, again, yeah, I want to try that sort of white undercoat with the skeleton horde. That'd be a cool thing to look at. But the tabard in the middle there, not too bad, just above the belt. Quite like that. A little bit of volume, a little bit of depth to it. Like overall, I think the model is pretty good. I really like it overall. Like I'm really happy with it, and I'm excited to put it on the tabletop, put it with the army. I think it's going to look awesome. It's just, yeah, I expected to go in with like loads of focus, not trying anything really serious, and just try and make it the best looking model. But actually, I learned a lot. Like I said, with the tabard shading, the sword, non-metallic metals, the basing. Yeah, do you know what? And also even the other squiggly text. So yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm quite happy with this project overall. All right, and here we go. The exciting part. Get to add the Emperor's Champion to our little army. You can go just here, right at the front because it's all new and shiny. Also, actually, you'll notice there are two little intercessors back here that I've actually finally finished building up. There we go, look at them. In fact, let's shine the light on them a bit. There we go. Right, it's proper flushing out now. Look at that. We've got a couple of characters. I think we do definitely need to work on some squads like the Sword Brothers and stuff next. But the Emperor's Champion is 90 points, I believe. So with everything else, that brings us up to, I want to say 685. Yeah, so it's really coming together now. I think once I do the Sword Brothers and the Crusaders, that's it. There we have it, the Emperor's Champion complete. And yeah, that was an interesting journey. It was different than I thought it was going to be, but it was still good. I enjoyed it. But yeah, I definitely learned a lot, which was quite cool and interesting. And yeah, it also took me a little bit longer than I thought it would, you know. Like, it's Thursday today. I think I started on Sunday. I've just been quite, to be fair, I've just been quite busy during the week. But it's been good. It was a good, fun journey, and I'm keen to take everything I've learned and put it into the rest of the models in this box. And I'm also really keen to start, flushing out and doing more squads. And I know I said last time I'll do some squads, but I couldn't resist the call of the Emperor's Champion. Lots to work on and improve on though, which is good. And yeah, I'm enjoying getting back into a rhythm of like learning things and trying things, because I think a few videos back when I did some of the Space Wars stuff, I was a bit like, I was just painting them for the sake of it. I was just wasn't really like thinking about what I'm learning and stuff. So it's quite good to get back into that flow, because that's what I really like about Warhammer. It's just like learning, constantly improving, and like just getting overall, like just getting better. Like it's really, really fun. It's something to like work towards. So thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, drop us a like and subscribe, and tune in next time. Bye.